What's up everyone? This is Volgrees here, and welcome to People Breakdown. This video is going to show you what it took and how I made People, which was my latest PC montage. If you'd like to check it out, the link is in the description. It's a really awesome movie. I really liked it, and I really enjoyed making it, and right now I'm going to show you guys what it took to create. So here is the folder that I used, as you guys see right here, Videos People. The overall file size of this folder is 76.9 gigabytes, which isn't bad for a, what is it, like a minute and 20-second long film. So yeah, here are all the clips that you guys see inside of here. Let me just first look for all the Vegas compositions. So star.veg, and I'll show you guys the Vegas. Here we go. Okay. So People 1, People 2, People 3, and People 4. These whole People 1 thing, People 2, these are all like earlier versions of People. Some of them were slightly changed from the current version that you guys can see on YouTube, but none of them were actually finished. So I'm just going to show you guys the latest one, which is People 4, of course. If I was going to make like a huge decision, pretty much like, okay, pretty much I think there was 4 or 5 clips actually in People. So each one of these little files is here is going to add a different clip in, and a lot of the clips were debated. Like for example, you know, the first clip I edited like 3 times. I edited a different clip, and same deal with the last clip. So I did all these. I saved them after I edited every single clip. That way, if I want to go back and change 1 or 2 things, I could. Okay, ignore missing and leave them offline. Okay. Here is what People look like. It's fairly simple. I mean, I did most of the work in After Effects anyway. But, yeah, here it is. Let's see. I don't really know how many tracks this is. Oh, 10 tracks right there. And if you guys can see, we have the intro, which, like I said, all was created in After Effects. I messed around with 4 intros, and this one seemed to be the best and the smoothest, so this is one I used. It was originally meant to enter the Dynamic Arts Editing Competition, which it is posted on their channel if you want to check it out. Cod Hut. If you guys look in the comments, you might actually see some comments from these people. Cod Hut said that it was too short, and Flatline Editing, I don't know if they commented, but they definitely checked it out. They told me they did, so that's pretty cool. Alright, so I'm not exactly sure what else to show you guys in the Vegas, because most of the work was on After Effects. But for those of you who want to see, I used a total of, let's see, it's got to be over 60 markers. I'm just looking over them right now, and I see 57, 56. So I'm thinking somewhere around 60 different markers. And it took me about maybe 10 hours to complete. You know, I had to, of course, record the demos, and it took me a decent amount of time, considering also that I went back and forth, and I was deciding between which clips to use. So definitely took me quite some time. We got this last clip right here, which again was debated. I actually used optical flares right here. A lot of things in this montage, a lot of effects that you may not have noticed, just to give it more of just a nice feel. Like this optical flares right here. It originally was blue. I changed it. First it was blue, then it was this little reddish color, which actually is a white, but because of the color and the contrast of the map and the config, it shows up as this red. It was originally red, then blue, and then red again within a maybe time span of about 3 seconds. So it didn't really look that good having the blue there. It was like a really light blue color. So I actually just changed it, and I just kept it simple, and I kept it to be white. And then right here we have this thanks for watching, which it's a little thing I threw together. I think it looks pretty cool. And in all, the montage is 1 minute and 13 seconds. And that's pretty much it. So now let me go into After Effects. So these are the Vegas compositions. After Effects would be, what is it? Well, what's the After Effects? AEP, right? Okay, so right here we have a bunch of different files. I'm just going to start with People 1. In all, there are 10 save files named People, and there's a couple other ones here. I'm not exactly sure what those are, but I'll look through them anyway. Let's start off with People 1. Alright, so here is People 1 in After Effects. Let me just show you guys what each one of these layers does. And yeah, and all people 1 is 20 seconds, so it's about, I'm going to say like a fifth of the montage right here in this first composition, or this first save file rather. Well, let's just start off with 1.avi. We have, pretty simple, we have these effects. We have radial blur, CC grid wipe, and twister, although I do remember, hold on a second, these two right here, CC grid wipe and twister, are not needed actually. Those are just effects that I was going to use but never actually did, so you can just forget about those. But radial blur is what creates this blur effect. So if you want to know how to do radial blur, I could do a tutorial on it, or you can just take my word for it. All you have to do is go to Effect, Blur and Sharpen, and Radial Blur, and it's pretty simple to figure out. So that's Radial Blur. Pretty much the only effect that I actually used on the original clip itself. Most of it was just overlays. For 1_1.avi, this is for the masking. I don't know if you guys could tell, but there was actually like mountains over here. I don't know. Let me see something. Okay. If I put the opacity to 100%, you'll actually see mountains over here. So it's kind of a cool little effect, and you do notice it. You might not have actually realized that that was a mountain, but just having this, you know, sunset right here really gives it a nice effect to the montage. I don't know if you guys can tell, as opposed to having, you know, this or this. I think this looks a lot cooler, so that's why I added it. So yeah, we have this, we have the sunset going on in the background. We have all these masks. So let me go to optical flares, which is hold on a second, what's going on? Oh, there we go. Okay, let's go to optical flares. So oh, in all, by the way, in this one composition I used 13 layers, plus I used 8 pre-comps, which each of those pre-comps have a decent amount of layers in them. So in all, I probably used at least 40 layers, I'm going to say, just in this one save file. And these are the pre-comps, by the way, right here. I'll go to these in just a second. Optical flares. Okay, we have just the optical flare right here. Gives it a nice glare effect on the screen, and it really adds to the effect right after you get the kill. And that is part of the reason why there's such a smooth look in People, and why a lot of people like it, is because it's smooth, it goes with the flow, and it just looks really nice. So right here you have this glare on the screen, and really adds to the mood and the tone of the project itself. Here we go. Typography. Okay, this is another question you guys had, was about the typography. Now, it's fairly simple. Basically, it's based on a word, like a word popping up, another word sliding in, and another word somehow getting in the picture. Now, once this happens, like once all the words that you want are there, like I know people, then it's going to actually zoom in to one of the letters. It's going to zoom in right to the middle of the O. I'm not sure if you guys can tell, but it's not zooming into the end, it's zooming in right here. Okay, so now that I added all the words that I want to be in the first segment, now what I did was I pre-composed these layers individually. As you guys see right here, I know people, which is just the text saying I know people. Now, when I go a couple frames forward, you're going to notice that it actually zooms into the O in people. I know it looks like it zooms into the N, it actually zooms into the O. And once the entire screen is covered with white, the next words appear. So that joke, and then I thought it was kind of cool. It just, I don't know, it makes it look, I don't know what the exact word is, but it just gives it like a interesting look. You know, if you were just to write that joke in just plain black text the same size, it would be boring. So by adding this in a reddish color, and then by adding and making the O red, it gives it an interesting effect, and I just think it looks really nice. So then what's going to happen is the O is actually going to be masked. I don't know if you guys can tell. You really can't see it in the actual, if you look closely, of course you can, but in the actual video, you can't actually see. This happens over the course of about, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 frames, which is like a third of a second. And in reality, the majority of the changes happen between now, and now. So you know, just the the swishing effect, I guess, of the O is really cool. It's a nice, neat effect, and keep in mind that that stays there while Joe comes up, and pretty much all you have to do is just mask behind the layer, which is why I have two pre-comp layers. I have one which is of course, the original one that I was using all along, and then I have this new one right here, which is where I mask it. So that's right there. Now let's go a little forward a little bit. We have... Alright, one sec. Okay, yeah, pretty much we just have this little text right here that's rich, and then we have one over here that says broke. Okay, broke's right here. I made the RB backwards. Pretty simple. And then I just made the RB in red as well. Right here, I know a lot of you guys like this as well. Love. Now, right here, pretty much what happens is the L comes in from the right and the VE comes in from the left. Pretty self-explanatory, but then once they meet in the middle, a heart actually spawns out of the middle. I don't know how else to explain that, but it looks really cool. And when the heart actually becomes full, it again, just like the O, it turns into a mask, and then that transitions to the next clip, which is AK-47. Now, I use a program, or not a program, a plugin called Keylight. I'll just show you the AK. Where is it? Let me just show you guys. This is actually a pre-comp. I'm going to go through all the pre-comps just one second. But White Mask pretty much is the clip of the AK-47 right here, as you guys can see. It is Vulgars, which is a text that goes across the screen, kind of like my way of watermarking it, because no one can really steal that, because, I mean, it's a transition, and without it, it wouldn't be the same. Also, I mean, it's pretty big. I mean, it's in bold. It's right across the screen, and it's masked fairly nicely, so we got that. Like I said, we have some more pre-comps. Let me go back to this. Okay. Pretty much all the rest is kind of self-explanatory, as you guys can see right here. Line, this is just the beginning line. I don't really have to go over that. This is the circle that comes off from the dynamic arts. I know people is just two of the identical composition pre-comps, which is pretty much like a new composition just in your actual work. So rich, broke. Yeah, this is how I got the RB backwards, by the way. I just created a separate layer and just made the RB backwards. I transformed the layer. Well, it's not called transforming in After Effects, but you guys know what I did. I just changed the scale so that the thing was negative 100 instead of 100, as you guys see right here. If you uncheck this little scale box right here, you can change each of the values individually. So I just changed the first one to be negative 100. That way it turns it around. Empty layer. Did I even do anything on this? I don't think so, so I don't even need this. Like I said, I was experimenting with different types of text, with different things, so this could just be same deal with those other effects. Those are effects I was going to use. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the first little save file. Let me go to the second one now. Okay, so now we're on People 3. I skipped People 2 because the composition itself was only about 3 seconds long, and it really wasn't worth making a segment of the video dedicated to that part, so I just decided to cut it out. And here is the next part of People. So, and then right here we have the gum mask, as you can see. Right here we have the AK, which I thought was pretty cool. I liked the sound of the AK loading when the screen was white and when the music was slightly quiet. And then pretty much it just stays the same until right here. Same deal with typography. We have, how many layers we have in this? Okay. We have 16 layers plus how many pre-comps? No pre-comps in this. 16 layers. And we have the song. I actually use this song to sync to, of course. I almost always use a separate MP3 track because I can sync it up easier. And let's get on to the rest. Okay, so I have to cut the last part out because this video is going to be way too long if I continue to keep talking about specific clips and specific effects that I did. I have to actually talk about this whole entire composition as a whole in order to get done with this in a reasonable time. So the typography, like I explained before, is just one or two words coming up, or as many words as you would like. And I think it looks more creative if you change maybe the font size or the color of one or two of the letters in it. And then it just zooms into the color of the letter, and then it's pretty self-explanatory. This right here, I use the shadow effect. You guys know how to do that. If you do not, type in, I'm trying to think of the tutorial. You can just type in like shatter in under my search box on my channel, and you should find a tutorial on how to do this. So that's it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed People Breakdown. I apologize if anything was not as in-depth as you would have liked. I went over the key aspects that people really wanted me to go over, which was, you know, the typography and some of the masks and things of that nature. But this is it, and planning, believe it or not, took me a majority of the time to make, in fact. So please leave a like, and if it's not too much to ask, you can just, you know, show a friend or two people just so it can get more exposed. Thank you guys for watching, and I really appreciate everyone who is watching this video and everyone who has watched People.